Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Stunner podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the fallout from the main event we had in Glasgow recently, Josh Taylor v Ekow Essuman. Of course, Josh Taylor being the heavy favourite in this fight due to him being the first ever British undisputed champion in the four belt era. He was champion, I believe, at super middleweight and has come up to welterweight for this fight. So undisputed at super lightweight, did I say? He's undisputed at super lightweight is a huge achievement, and Josh Taylor was 100% one of the elite world level guys at one point. I don't want to see. There's a lot of people saying now that he's lost these fights, he was never that good in the first place. No, Josh Taylor is a seriously good boxer, a very good athlete as well. Was a nice sized 140-pound fighter, which was super lightweight. Nice sized super lightweight. Wouldn't really get bullied around in there for the most part, was able to hold his own physically at super lightweight. And like I said, always was a big puncher. Even though he wasn't knocking guys stone cold dead, he definitely had a solid amount of power. He was always keeping guys honest, right? So Josh Taylor definitely was a world level guy. He now lost to Ekow Essuman, who you could arguably say this guy's established at British/European level. So coming off the Jack Catterall fight for Josh Taylor, this is definitely like a step down. Sure, he's moved up to 147 now, but definitely was a step down in terms of level on paper, right? And it's in Scotland where Josh Taylor's from as well. So you're expecting a lot of these things to be in Josh Taylor's favour, right? And at the start of the fight, honestly, they were. So Josh Taylor started the fight really good. Looked like he had a lot more energy initially when he was at, now that he's at 147. Was putting the pace on Ekow. I'd say the first half of the fight, probably from the first to fourth/fifth round, Josh Taylor probably won every round, right? He was putting the pressure on, throwing more punches, and that was really what was winning in those rounds. But after the fifth round, we saw quite a noticeable maybe drop off in input. It felt like, I haven't got the box numbers, I haven't got the numbers in front of me, so it may not have actually been the case, but when you're watching a fight, you get the sort of vibe and you get the sort of feel that even if this guy's boxing like this now, it's taken a lot out of him and he's not going to be able to continue to box like this all 12 rounds, right? So it feels like after round 5 that Josh Taylor sort of he fell off an edge a bit, lost a lot of the energy he had in the first 5 rounds, which I guess is going to happen as well, but it was a quite noticeable dip, and this allowed Ekow to really get back into the fight. Ekow, at no point did we see him fold or swallow it. Yes, he probably knew in himself that he's lost the first 4 or 5 rounds, but he's still in this fight. The fight's not over yet, so let's keep going, right? And from that point, that's what won Ekow Essuman that fight. Basically, what Josh Taylor did to him in the first half of the fight, Ekow did in the second half of the fight. Now, really the debate is around, for those who think the decision was wrong, the only debate is really around when was those swing rounds, around 5, 6, when it was more in the balance, right? And by the end of the fight, it felt like Josh Taylor was absolutely finished. In terms of his gas tank, I don't think he probably took a huge amount of damage. Obviously, it's a 12-round boxing fight, so you're going to take some damage, but he didn't took a huge amount of damage. But did have some bruising around his face, obviously. So it really depends on whereabouts you start those swing rounds from. But it goes the distance, and Ekow Essuman wins the fight. I think it was for some BS, WBO global title, something like this. But the biggest win of Ekow's career, and honestly, if we're talking about things realistically, Josh Taylor probably will be looking at retirement after that. 3 losses in a row. Josh Taylor at one point, like I said, was undefeated, undisputed champion. He then lost to Teofimo Lopez. Again, no shame in losing to him at all. Teofimo Lopez is an absolutely elite world level boxer with serious boxing skill. So no shame in losing to Teofimo. He then fought Jack Catterall in a rematch where he lost. So really he's 1-on-1 with Jack Catterall, who is certifiably at the world level in my opinion. Actually, I say certifiably, he's not at the level of a Teofimo Lopez or the other guys at the top of the division. But he's right up there. He's right up there. He's not on that same level, but he's right up there. Jack Catterall's definitely 100% a world level guy. So no shame in losing to him, but the Ekow Essuman loss. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair, there's some redeeming factors. Of course, Josh Taylor, again, he started the fight off really well. So that in his head, he's probably going to be thinking, you know, I'm not going to retire because I've clearly still got something in the tank. And he didn't get finished, so he can still take a shot. But he probably should retire, being honest. You know, you just lost to Ekow Essuman, who, again, Ekow, it is a big step down, to be honest. It is a big step down because up until this point, Ekow had only really been established at British and European level. It's not like he lost to 3 world level guys on the bounce. You know, if he lost to Teofimo, Jack Catterall, and then I don't know who, you know, at the top of the division, I don't know who's even there at the moment. I was going to say Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman's weight division above. Keith Thurman can be talked about in another video, right? But someone else, right, who was a higher level than Ekow Essuman. Say he loses to someone who's a higher level than Ekow Essuman. You're like, okay, 3 world level guys, you may be a bit past it, but you still can find your level. But going from world level to British level, losing to that sort of opponent in that space of a time in 2 fights, maybe that's too steep of a decline for me. And maybe Josh Taylor will be looking at retiring. But it was a pretty good fight. And Josh Taylor lost it. You know, that's really all there is to say about it. Huge upset, obviously. I didn't put money on this fight. And if I did, I would have bet it on Josh Taylor. So take that from what you will. So yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.